by one. So next we are going to talk about the role of dev. What is that? The role of development. So ops is something every human being will do in a daily life. Okay. So what is dev is actually development. So how a development actually works. So that I'm talking about here. So dev is nothing but it's about coding. It's about hacking something. It's about really understanding about coding. Okay. So in dev, the first thing is development will have various technologies. We use a technology called front end. What is that? Front end. And we use some tools. What are tools we use there? So we can say tools or applications. That is anything. VS Code is one tool. We use languages. We use frameworks. And this is a technology. And when we say development, development has various technologies. Okay. You can use a tool and do this. Coming back to backend, backend is another technology, and there also you can use a tool called what? VS tools, and there is a language and there is a framework that's happening here. So development can happen with any of the language and front end or back end or anything. Okay, so dev is all about what? Development. So what you need to understand in development, I've explained clearly. When anyone wants to do development, they will do a basic setup. What they do? They'll have to do a setup. What they have to set up? They have to install applications or not? So basically what is DevOps means, carefully listen, I will explain it very clearly and you will understand in a very easy way. So what is development? If anyone is doing development, what they should do? Actually what they should do? So they have to first install a language. A language will be one application or not? Yes. Yes or no, guys? You have to install one application. Language will be one. So what is the next thing we have to install? So the IDE they have to install. IDE is what? Some tool or what? Application. Then they have to install some framework. That framework is also what? It won't be application. It will be mostly some set of, how do I tell you that is, so mostly when we are, when you are setting up, when you set up a tech, so a tech setting up is all about maximum. It's all about what? Installation. It's all about what? Installation. So remember, this installation is a very, very important process in development. Okay, so developers do this, but in DevOps, this installation process is done by DevOps team. So they will do two things. One, they will do ops. Ops means operation. I've already explained it. It's all about how to work with a computer, that is operation. And dev is all about, you need to know various techs. Okay, so you need to know how to set up a tech for what? Installing language, installing IDE, installing what? Framework. So all the frameworks are installed with, they will install with command line. What is that? Command line. They won't install normally. Okay, and so a lot of I can say that they will use lot of, here what they'll use is they'll use lot of tools here, or you can say lot of tools or what? Applications they'll use. So this is actual trend and this is actually happening here in the real time. So in development, if anyone is working in development, that fellow has to install language application. That fellow has to install. See, for instance, for DevOps only, for DevOps, what all we have to install, guys? What all we have to install? You take an example of DevOps only. For DevOps only, what all we have to install? For DevOps, what all setup you have to do? Anyone here? So you have to install what language first? What language you have to install?
Python.
And you have to install which tool here?
Idea.
VS Code. And framework no need, but might be you need to install a lot of tools. What are the tools you have to install?
The GitHub.
Yes. So you need to install some other tools. So that tools are GitHub. And still a lot of applications you have to install. What are the other applications you have to install?
Docker. AWS.
Correct. So what is Docker? Docker is again another tool. What is Kubernetes? Kubernetes is again another
Tool.
Kubernetes it's a tool, but Docker is actually an application. So listen carefully. Docker is an application, and that application you can install. But Kubernetes is not an application. It's an application, but it is a CLI based application. What is that? CLI based means what? Command based application. What is that? Command based application. These all are command based applications. So we use it as called as command based applications. This is what happening here, and as a developer you are mainly focusing on this only. So you have to understand as a developer is that you are doing in DevOps also, you have to install language Python, you have to install ID, you have to install a tool GitHub, you have to install Docker, you have to install what? Kubernetes. Coming to AWS, you don't need to install any application. You need to only create an account. What do you have to do? You have to only create an account. You don't install anything there. But definitely in AWS, you need to install OS, or you need to set up OS, operating system. What do you have to set up? You have to set up OS. So in AWS, I can say you don't install, you create an account. It's not about installation, it's about you create an account there. So I'll just show you that. So you create an account. So next is what? What is the next step? It's left is you can see there is a lot of things are there. So what does you are talking about here? AWS. So in AWS, what you are going to do? What are you going to do? You are going to, what are you going? You create an account, right? It's not an application. It is, you can say it's not an application, but it is actually it's an application. This is a tool that is also VS Code is a Python application. VS Code is a tool, you can say that. So now coming to any person, any coder, every tech has got what? Some lot of tools. What is that? Lot of tools. And we need to install that tools, set up that tools. So basically, what is the role of DevOps is what? First know operations of a computer. Then you need to know what? Development tools. What is that? So remember, your DevOps is all about knowing about operations and development. So first operations are important, and later you have to understand about development. So what is development? So you're going to do development with the help of what? Tools that's using Python applications, using VS Code tool or GitHub tool or Docker or Kubernetes is not a tool, it's a command based application. Not this is a normal, it's not a normal approach. So so AWS is basically what it is a GUI, CLI applications. CLI, you can say it's GUI and CLI based applications. GUI means what? Graphical user interface. Or CLI based what? Applications. It will support you both the operations. It will support you GUI applications as well as what? CLI applications. So both it will support you. That is the main use of setup you have to do. So you might be getting a question, Venkatesh, when you are talking about DevOps, you are talking about DevOps setup first. So in DevOps, what is the first setup I am doing is, DevOps basically the setup itself is the huge here. So we have to install first Python, then VS Code tool, then GitHub, then Docker, then Kubernetes. Same way, every tech has got what? Various tools, various installation of languages. For languages, then they'll use some separate applications. Then framework will have some set of tools, not it will use some libraries actually, or packages, we can say that. We can also talk about that later. But so any developer has to understand any setup of tech will have installation of language, tools, some command line things, and list of tools or applications and commands. This is a basic thing for development. So is a tool clear part to everyone here? So if that is clear, so any tech will have minimal that requirement. You cannot escape that requirement from the any of the techs. Okay. So in my last sessions, I already described about what is actually application. What is actually application? Why we use applications? What is the need of application? Okay, so we have already discussed that. So as a beginner, everybody knows it. So next I'll go to tool. What is the tool name here? What? Tool name is what? Dev.
Git.
So before I talk about tools, so there is one interesting concept I'm going to do now so that you can understand more of it.